Okay, good morning everyone, and let's start by just welcoming you here to the Armagh City Hotel. So hopefully you've all managed to get through the traffic. I know we have a few people stuck in traffic on the way here, so we'll have another few join us in the next few minutes and they can take up some of the other seats here. Today we're here to talk about going digital, improving productivity and the strive to net zero, and indeed how we can piece all of this together. My name is Melanie Dawson. I am a BIM and digital construction consultant, and I have my own company which is called Origin 7. I founded that about 3 years ago now, and about a year ago then in addition to that I was privileged to join the board of Invest NI as well. So my role within the board is as a non-executive director. I will attend the board meetings and again share the voice, I suppose, of the construction industry, some of the challenges that we are facing, and again I think I have a unique perspective. So prior to starting my own company, I worked for about 5 years for Graham Group, and again I can see this all from the perspective of major contractor side. I've also worked with design organisations, and now for the last sort of 2 to 3 years I've worked with lots of different companies, helping them to drive productivity, efficiency and innovation within their organisation. So you can hopefully see where there's a nice marry up between the day job and then the work that I do as a board member with Invest NI as well. So today is all about going digital, it's about improving productivity and indeed the strive for net zero and how we're all going to get there as a collective as Northern Ireland PLC. I have split this up, or I suppose my perception whenever I was talking about today, so I've been working with the team at Invest NI whenever we were putting together this event, and I suppose there was 3 things that I thought that we needed to discuss or bring together in this room. So the first one being the challenges that face us as an industry, and today is not about, I suppose, discussing the challenges that we all know about, so the likes of rising material prices, Brexit, etc., things like that. It's about discussing the challenges that we can control within our own organisations, and those are the kind of things where productivity, innovation and smarter ways of working can help us directly, and these are things that are within our control. Today is also about exploring some opportunities to resolve those challenges. So again, we've invited along a number of organisations to share where they have found those opportunities already. And indeed, hopefully that will spark ideas for you in your organisation or things that you think perhaps that you could start to look at. And the third piece to that puzzle then is we've identified the challenges, we've identified the opportunities, but who's here to help me? So again, we have a strong team from Invest NI here today, and they're here to tell you all about the different support offerings that they can give you. So not just presenting the challenges, how you might fix them, but also how they can help you to solve those challenges and really work that productivity and innovation into your organisations. From my perspective then, we have sort of 4 key challenges that we're facing as an industry that are within our control. The first one is in the productivity space. So I suppose first of all, one of the things, and again as a BIM consultant, information is king for me. But having the right information is what we all need to allow us to make those data-driven decisions, and having the right information in a structured way will allow us to implement stronger processes within our organisations, and that then leads to automation and digitisation. So one of the first key ones there in productivity is that. The second one is technology and automation. So again, once we've ironed out those processes and we have streamlined those, to improve productivity, we need to find the right solutions that work with our organisation and what it is that we are trying to deliver. And that's not easy. There's so many solutions out there, and navigating to find the one that fits your organisation is a big task in itself. And again, we'll hear from some of the companies today on how they've managed to do that, some of the solutions that they have looked at, and indeed some of the positive outcomes that they have achieved as a result of that. The third part then is the people-focused side in terms of productivity. And again, to become more productive, you will need to train your people. They will need to understand new skills, how to use new technology. And again, developing people is often overlooked when it comes to improving productivity. On the productivity side as well, there's lots of research has been done out there on productivity, and you will have seen the likes of the McKinsey reports and the Deloitte reports. And it always sort of still surprises me that these figures don't change. But I mean, the construction sector is one of the largest in the world's economy, with about $10 trillion, and yes, that's trillion with a T, $10 trillion spent on construction-related goods and services every year globally. So you can see from an Invest NI perspective, if there's $10 trillion worth of economic opportunities out there, why Invest and I would want to be involved, and indeed help companies within Northern Ireland to be exporting to the rest of the world. Even though the market is so big and our industry is so big, construction still remains in the twilight zone very much when it comes to improving productivity, innovation and digitisation. And we are still the second least digitised industry, second only to farming/hunting. So that should give you a bit of perspective on where we are. Our typical spend in construction as well on IT services is just 1.68% of our total turnover. So again, a very small margin of money is spent on technology to enable productivity compared to the scale of the market and the scale of the opportunities. So again, definitely something that needs to be done there to improve productivity. The second challenge that we're all facing, and I suppose we're all hearing plenty about it, is sustainability. And indeed, we have things like the Climate Change Act, companies coming out with their net zero targets. The net zero target for 2050 is one that we will all hear, but there's many organisations coming out and saying that they want to be net zero by 2025, by 2030. So a lot wanting to push that even closer, and again that puts pressure on our industry to step up to those challenges. 40% of carbon emissions are linked to the built environment, and again that's why the pressure will be on us as an industry to do what we can to reduce the carbon embodied in the products that we use, in the buildings that we have, and indeed even in the existing assets that we have, to ensure that we're doing everything that we can to help reduce those carbon emissions. The challenge really facing us in terms of all of that, I mean, the UK has committed through the Climate Change Act to achieve that target of net zero carbon by 2050, and that sounds like a long way away, but it really will come round quickly. I often would talk to people again from the BIM perspective, but we had mandates for BIM as well. We had 5 years to step up to the challenge, and again that 5 years went in no time, and we got to the deadline and still people weren't truly ready. So again, it sounds like a long way away, but do be aware that other organisations have brought that date forward for themselves, but the 2050 date is the one that we're all very focused on. And again, what we need is that dramatic reduction in carbon emissions to help us to achieve that. The third part then I have put on here is just challenges around regulation. So we'll have challenges around regulation in terms of sustainability that we've talked about, but there's also all of the other regulations that we have coming our way shortly. So the likes of the Building Safety Bill. So those of you who operate across the UK will probably be more aware of this one, and again the implications of that. Northern Ireland, typically we're always about 18 months behind whatever happens in terms of legislation in the rest of the UK, but that one is coming. It is coming soon. It will have implications on Part L and again fire safety regulations that we have here. And again, we need to step up to those challenges. Many of the organisations here are already exporting, so you will be experiencing these requests from your clients across the UK and further afield. So the bar is already raised, and it's how NI PLC step up to those challenges. We also have things like the 10X economy framework here in Northern Ireland, which is really centred on the fact that we have a strong positive relationship really within Northern Ireland. But the 10X economy is also looking at the relationships between exports, innovation and productivity. And again, what's worth noting is that firms that export are more productive, they are more innovative and they're faster growing, and they will tend to make the strongest economic contributions, and that would be through the likes of employing more people and providing better jobs, employing people with higher salaries and higher skill sets, encouraging further inward investment into Northern Ireland, because we have the skills, we have the talent here, and again then in turn we're able to export that further, and again help with productivity growth within our economy. So the third one under regulation then I have is social value. So those of you who receive tenders and bids all the time will see this one popping up more and more. But again, the requirements within construction companies to meet social obligations to win contracts. And again, this will be driven by the need to implement new solutions, implement new technology, and again, increase the skills available within your organisation. So a big challenge to step up to. The fourth one then that I have identified is just assistance. So we have all of these challenges. Of course, there's opportunity there, but who can we reach out and where is the help? So there are organisations like InvestNI, and there are other organisations as well where you can tap into funding and financial support. But the other big challenge really is finding people who can give you the knowledge that you don't have. So whether that's bringing in specialist consultants or reaching out to the likes of InvestNI or other supporting agencies to fill that knowledge gap for you. So you may be trying to enter a new market, you may be trying to explore new productivity solutions, but you don't know where to start. And again, having that knowledge or that experience from somebody who has done it before can be really valuable. So that's what we're here really to talk about today. So in terms of our agenda today and what we would like you to take away, there's been a slight reshuffle due to traffic here, but up first today in our sort of digital innovation stage, we will have Lorraine, Head of Digital at McAvoy Group. And Lorraine's going to share with you some of her insights from the offsite and modular construction perspective. And then we have Chris from Innovate UK, and again, he's going to share with you some of the challenges and opportunities that he sees within the market. We're then going to have a short break for about 20 or 30 minutes, and again we would invite you to go out and take a look at our exhibitors, have a chat with the people who are in the room, grab a tea or coffee, and then come back in about 20 or 30 minutes time, and then we're going to focus in on productivity and net zero. So we have Manik here talking about their innovative products, and then we also have Liam from SustainIQ who will be explaining his sustainability platform and indeed the value of the data that we can all capture as construction companies to support those net zero goals. We will finish up then. I'm going to invite the team from InvestNI up here at the end. I'm going to essentially ask them to give a short elevator pitch on what it is they can help you with, and then I'm going to table some questions to them as if I were an audience member. So these are the kinds of questions that I would hear when I'm out in companies as well. So I will try and press them a little bit to get the answers that I think you will want, and then we will open it up to the floor, and then you can ask more questions. As each one of our speakers are doing their presentation, if you can start to think of questions as they're going through it. We have a roving mic, so at the end of the two presentations at the start, I'll ask you just to put your hand up, and any questions, then we will table it to the two speakers that you will have seen just before that. So the key takeaways, or why we're all here. What we'd like you to take away today are the three things on the right-hand side there. So understand the challenges, and I'm sure a lot of you do. Understand the opportunities that can be explored, and again, how those can be applied to your business. Hopefully you'll go away with a spark of an idea and look to see how you can put that together. And the third one is to be able to explore the support solutions that are on offer. And we think if you can take all of those three away, you should have had a successful day and some positive takeaways and outcomes from the day. So without further ado, I am going to pass you over to our first speaker today. Our first speaker is Lorraine McMorrow from the McAvoy Group. So I'm going to invite Lorraine up to do her talk, please.